In 1943, the Nazis occupied the Greek city of Thessaloniki, also known as Salonika. They began forcing Jews to wear the yellow star and segregating them in the city's ghetto. Many were deported to Auschwitz, but not all. Some survived by hiding, and what they were hiding was more than just their identity. They were hiding their heritage. They were hiding their culture. They were hiding their religion. And they did so with the help of one of the most unlikely of allies, fabric. It's a symbol of hope and resilience. For decades, this story remained unknown until 1981, when a group of researchers uncovered the tale of the thread. They tracked down the last remaining quilt makers and survivors who had received the quilts. They couldn't speak about their activities, not even to their own children. Now 90 years old, one of the women broke that silence, telling her story and bringing this piece of history to light. What they found was a story that had been buried for decades. We'll be bringing you stories from our collections every week, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. This is the story of the thread of Thessaloniki, Greece, 1917 to 1948. You know the old saying, "Don't cry over spilled milk." As a young woman, she was part of the resistance. She risked her life making and delivering the secret quilts. Now an elderly woman, she looked back on her heroic past. The story follows a young woman who uncovers her family's secrets while researching the history of the quilts of Thessaloniki. So make sure you subscribe to be notified every time we upload. Until next time, see you soon. And although fiction, it's inspired by those incredible true stories. This was the first time she had spoken publicly about what she did during the war. Well, in this case, we are crying over spilled blood, hiding them from Nazi soldiers who would rip apart any quilt they found in search of forbidden books. But thanks to the thread of Thessaloniki, some families had a fighting chance. Before they went into hiding, they took these quilts with them, burying them in the attic or cellar of a house where they were hiding. After the war, when it was safe to return to Thessaloniki, survivors came back for the quilts. It was a long shot, but many of the quilts were still there, just as they had been left. The books were taken out, carefully cleaned, dried, and restored. They were returned to the Jewish community, becoming known as the Thread of Thessaloniki, named after the Greek word for quilt, in bullion. The women worked in secret, passing the quilts from hand to hand, making sure each one contained at least one Torah scroll or prayer book. They would then deliver these quilts to Jewish families in hiding, allowing them to practice their religion in secret. It was a dangerous mission, but the reward was immeasurable. Blood-stained textiles that served as a literal lifeline for generations of Jews. These are the last remaining pieces of cloth from a secret network of resistance. This is all that's left of an extraordinary tale of bravery. It's the story of seamstresses who, at great personal risk, wove Jewish sacred texts into the linings of quilts. In 1944, the Nazis began rounding up Jews from their secret hiding places, taking them to concentration camps. Today, the thread of Thessaloniki is more than just a historical artifact. In 2007, a 90-year-old woman gave a dramatic television interview revealing her double life. During World War II, all of the women involved in the plot had been given false identities by the resistance. I'm here with the British Library, and this is the first of a new series of short videos. When researching this film, we discovered a wonderful novel called The Thread by Victoria Hislop. We've got lots more stories to share with you, including more from our collection.